Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Johnny Kapahala back on board. Yes, Johnny Kapahala. You know that name? It's probably because you watched the Disney Channel in the late 90s, early 2000s. This is a sequel to Johnny Tsunami. Johnny Tsunami is Johnny Kapahala's grandpa, and played by Cary, his name is so long, Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa, and you've probably seen him in a bunch of stuff, like Mortal Kombat and things like that. But he's, I'm not going to list everything, but you've seen his face before in a number of things. And Johnny Kapahala is Brandon Baker. He is back. This is like 8 years later. This is from 2007. It's an hour and 33 minutes long. The original Johnny Tsunami movie came out in 1999. So this is an 8-year later sequel for Disney Channel. At least I think it was Disney. It had to be Disney Channel. I don't think it went right like to DVD. They had to put it on Disney Channel. It's just a thing you do. Anyway, this is, the last film had Johnny Kapahala move from Hawaii, where he lived with his grandpa and was very comfortable and just, well, mostly, but then his parents decide, hey, we're going to move to Vermont. And so he's stuck in a place with no waves. What is he going to do? And he learns how to snowboard. So it's a fish out of water story, and he learns to get to know a new set of bullies and cute girl and all this, just all the stuff you expect. But, and he's the young teen in that story. Here he's a little bit more grown up. I don't know how old he's supposed to be in this. Like, is he still in high school, or is he college age? I can't really tell. But he's come back to Hawaii, and that's what you do in a sequel. You take the character you know who was taken out of their comfortable space, put in a new area, and acclimates, and then take him back to his origins. And in this case, yes, back to Hawaii for his grandpa's wedding. Yeah, his grandpa's getting married. Johnny Tsunami's getting married, and it is to an apparently much younger looking woman. I don't know how old she was in this, but it's by the way, it's Robin Lively. She's a half sister of Blake Lively. Yeah, who Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. So yeah, Robin Lively is she's an actress. She's done a billion things. She's got some amazing red hair, and she is totally going for this old dude. So nothing against Cary, come on, but still, he's good for him. She's moved to Hawaii, and there's a number of revelations that are discovered along the way once Johnny arrives. He gets to see his old friend from Vermont, who's now moved to Hawaii conveniently, so he has a partner in crime kind of thing. But Johnny Kapahala is very mature. He's more mature now. He's grown up, and he's he's not so tempted to fit in kind of thing and learning lessons. He's kind of he's got the job of taking care of somebody else, and that somebody else just happens to be his uncle, but it also happens to be 12 years old, and that's the big revelation in this. The woman that Grandpa Tsunami is marrying she has a son that's 12 years old. The woman has 12. Yeah, I sort of blanked out there. You may have too. I don't know. The boy who is now Johnny Kapahala's uncle is 12, and he very much wants to be part of a dirt boarding. By the way, we're going through all the board types here. We've done surfing, because Johnny Kapahala knows how to do that. He's now a snowboarder. We discover at some point they have skate parks in Vermont, and it doesn't always snow there, so he's gotten really good at skateboarding. So yeah, and now he's going to learn dirt boarding or mountain boarding, or not sure exactly what the proper best term is, but it's dirt boarding, and it's like a skateboard, but much longer, much wider. It's this thing. It's that, see that thing with the wheels are way on the outside. They're much bigger. So it's a cross between surfing and snowboarding and skateboarding and all the boardings, but it's on land and dirt, and not a parking lot or a sidewalk or an ocean or a mountain of snow. It is different. Of course, what you get here in this situation, in any of these stories that they get told on the Disney Channel, you get bullies. You get bullies that the new kid wants to fit in with, and that is Jake T. Austin plays Chris, Johnny Kapahala's 12-year-old uncle. You might know Jake T. Austin. He's been in a bunch of other Disney Channel things. He's appeared as the same character. As I was doing some research here, which I do occasionally, I recognize him. I don't know where I recognize him from, but he plays the character Max Russo, not only in like The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, but in The Wizards of Waverly Place. Like, I didn't realize they all existed in the same universe. And I think Hannah Montana was involved at some point as well. Like, okay, forgive me. I don't know all these things, but especially about the Disney Channel, because I was not watching it during that era. But is there a Disney Channel cinematic universe or telematic, that's not the word, but televised universe that they're all connected? That's just weird. I'm sure there's I'm sure, maybe Good Luck Charlie fits in there somewhere as well. I have no idea. But anyway, he is Jake T. Austin plays Chris, and he is what you'd expect, a 12-year-old kid who is not really too happy about mom's new boyfriend and being forced to move to the paradise of Hawaii, living literally on the ocean, who hates surfing, by the way, no matter how much his new stepdad is trying to teach him. So, yeah, he just wants to fit in with the cool kids who are also basically mocking him and just using him for the sake of humor, just pick on him. And he's in that group. Of course, there's also there's a Jared. Okay, there's a guy named Jared. It's a given. There's going to be a guy named Jared. But in that group also is a tomboyish pretty girl played by Rose McIver. If you know who that is, I got to know who she is from when she was a lead character in iZombie. So yeah, she's I don't know, 16 here or something like that. She's a young kid, and she's of course the sort of love interest. There's a lot going on in this movie, by the way. There's a lot. Because beyond, the themes of trying to deal with a new step-parent and moving to a new place and a fish out of water story and connecting with family, and by the way, there's a store that Chris's mom is trying to build. Like, not build, but like she's trying to create a surf shop with Johnny Tsunami. And I don't know if the bank's going to pay for it, and there's all sorts of other things. But there's also the rival shop owner who is the leader of the Dirt Dogs or something. I think that's what they're called. The Dirt Devils. Dirt Dogs is Snoop's hot dog place. But the Dirt Devils, the bully gang of apparently the only people who are doing this. And by the way, I don't know if I've ever seen any kind of media that ever highlighted this type of board racing or jumping or anything. This extreme sport. I don't think I've ever seen anything. Does it still exist? Is it like, apparently there's a celebrity or two that appears in this film that are like the best of dirt racing. And that's great. I wasn't even aware this was a thing. I live in California, and apparently there's a lot of that in California, but I don't know. It's just like the leader of the rival shop. First of all, he's a complete jerk. He's a jackass. But he plays it to the hill. He eats that scenery like crazy. Where's this? Who is he? Troy? Phil Brown. Phil Brown is who plays him, and he just plays him as a complete douche, and it's kind of to the hilt. It's pretty good. So if you want a bad guy in this film, it's undeniably, the moment you look at him, you're like, that guy's a douche. That's the bad guy. And so, yeah, he's sort of, I'm not going to ruin everything for you because you should see it yourself, I guess, if this is your thing. But yeah, there's like I said, there's a rescue the shop storyline. There's reconciling with the stepfather kind of situation. There's all sorts of things that are just going on here. Of course, it's trying to fit in with the cool kids, peer pressure, and of course risking mortal injury in order to do so, much to the laughter of the other bully kids. It's, there's like I said, there's a bunch going on, and again, there's the somewhat romance between Johnny Kapahala and Rose McIver's character. What is her? I can't remember her name. Valerie. So him and Valerie kind of play at things. Oh, by the way, Valerie's dad is super rich, and there's the mystery of why Grandpa Johnny Tsunami is wearing a suit. Why would he wear a suit? He loves to surf. He's totally laid back and cool. He's never worn a suit in his life. There's a mystery there. So, yeah. And, who's that guy, that business-looking guy that he's meeting with? Well, there's a story right there. So there's a lot, like I said, a lot going on here. And it's all confusing Johnny Kapahala, but it's up to him to figure it out and take care of his uncle. And of course, because this takes a number of breaks from the story to do montages of dirtboarding, which kind of, for the target audience of this, is the reason they're watching. I'm surprised at the amount of adult drama, not like adult, but I mean like mature drama scenes that are in this thing, when you know that the audience is watching this is gonna be 12, 10, whatever it is. It's going to be young, and they're going to want to watch people do cool stunts and tricks and everything else on dirt boards to make it a thing. I'm sure it is somewhere, but they want to watch the dirt board movie. And there's a number of those. By the way, the fact that this is a Johnny Tsunami sequel, there's very little surfing. There's a little bit of surfing at the very beginning, the very little end, and there's a scene where Johnny Kapahala is teaching Valerie how to surf. That's sort of the little romantic montage in this. But nothing really comes of it. So, I don't know. Oh, it's because I think Chris, the 12-year-old, kind of has a crush on her. So, the funny thing is that she's part of the Dirt Devils, and everybody else, for the most part, is a jerk, especially Jared, the alpha of the group. But she hangs out with them, apparently, because she has no other options in life. She's a poor, very pretty, rich girl. Has no other means of friendship, which it seems to be. Anyway, there's one other thing I wanted to... there's a big Karate Kid connection to this thing. If you didn't know already from Johnny Tsunami film, Johnny Kapahala's dad, and Johnny Tsunami's son, is played by, let me get his name here, by Yuji Okamoto, Pete. He is from Karate Kid 2. Why can't I say his name? Chosen. He's Chosen from Karate Kid 2. And Lively, the Robin Lively, that she was another Johnny, love interest in Karate Kid 3. But now she's gonna marry the old guy, Johnny Tsunami. So yeah, it's a whole thing. There's a whole lot to look at this. So yeah. Again, it's not complicated by any means. It's not meant to be. It shouldn't be. Again, the target audience for this is going to be 12-year-olds. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. And it gives you plenty of those action sequences. And of course, in order to save the shop and do whatever else and fight off the guy who's threatening their business, there has to be a face-off. And who's going to do the face-off? Well, it's not going to be the little kid who wants to be the big dirt board racing kid, Chris, who's 12, against an adult who runs the opposing shop. It's going to be Johnny Kapahala because it's his movie. It's his name in the thing. He's back on the board. So yeah, there's a big, long sequence. And honestly, the last 20 feet feels like 10 minutes where they're shooting it. And also the way they shoot it, it's like they used an effects board from the 1990s, like MTV. Like, just... by the way, it's all like pop punk kind of 2000-ish music, as it should be, because it's that era. but it feels like they really chinced on the effects. They shot a bunch of close-up stuff, and of course, whenever somebody, like, even especially when Chris, the little kid, is supposedly racing down a hill or doing jumps and stuff like that, they get a stuntman like twice his size to do all of his stunts. They get a guy relatively the same size as what's his face, as Johnny Kapahala, as Brandon, but to do his stunts. But yeah, there's a big whole race at the end that decides the fate of the store and the marriage and loving your stepdad and stepson and everything, whether they move away from Hawaii, like everything hangs on this. So yeah, it's a little silly, but you know what? If you like this dirt boarding, if you like Hawaii, and yeah, you wanted to see a Johnny Tsunami sequel, well, here you go. This is for you. It's not for everybody. It's not high art. It's not going to be Academy Award winning or even Emmy winning type of television, but it's entertaining. It was all right. It to me, it did feel like it was a good half an hour too long, but again, I think kids who are just trying to watch this for the highly edited dirtboarding chases might agree with me, because they're just like, oh, why aren't people racing and running down hills on these giant boards taped to their feet? Why aren't they doing more of that? Why is Grandpa and the redhead having a discussion about the future of their relationship because their delinquent kid is messing stuff up? So yeah, the police get involved at some point. So yeah. Anyway, that's to say, yeah, you don't have to watch this, but if you're a Johnny Tsunami fan, well, you're gonna want to see this follow-up. If in case you didn't know it existed, 8 years after the fact, check it out. Only on Disney Plus. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
251.
251. That's not don't have to scroll too far. 251. Oh. Well, there are 2 of these movies, and there's one, the first and its sequel, and we happen to get the first one. We're not going to have to watch them out of order, which is kind of nice. Although I would really like to watch the thing directly above it, but it's fine. We'll get to it eventually. We're going to be watching, it's a movie, and it's called Like Mike. Again, it's one of those things where I think we've watched it already, but I'm probably wrong. Like Mike is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.